right, cricket fans, welcome back to Tarek Podcast for another deep dive. And, today's topic is, well, it's a tough one for us Bangladeshi fans. It's Bangladesh's performance in their first ODI against Afghanistan. Oof, talk about a reality check.
Yeah, it was a tough one to watch, that's for sure. A loss is a loss, but this one, it felt different. I don't know, it felt like we really let one slip away.
Exactly. It's like they had the match in their grasp
Yeah.
and they just let it slip through their fingers. Just remind me again, this was the first match of the series, right? The one of the UAE?
Yep, first match of the series, played at the Sharjah Cricket Stadium. And, Sharjah's been a bit of a fortress for Afghanistan lately. But even so, Bangladesh came out strong at first.
They did. I was watching those early partnerships building up, and I thought, okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the turning point. We had two 50-plus partnerships. The score was 120 for 2. Everything seemed to be going our way. And then, bam, what happened?
It's almost like someone hit the panic button. The moment Najmul Shanto, our captain, got dismissed, it triggered a total meltdown. They went from 120 for 2 to 143 all out. Can you believe that? Losing 8 wickets for just 23 runs? That's not just a collapse, that's a complete implosion.
It's almost like they forgot how to bat. It was painful to watch, honestly. And what about Allah Ghazanfar? He was named player of the match, wasn't he?
He was, and deservedly so. His bowling figures were just incredible. 6 for 26. A career best performance. He absolutely tore through our batting lineup. It was like watching a masterclass in spin bowling. And Crick Buzz said it best. Bangladesh's batters had no clue which way the ball was turning. Some lost their wickets trying to defend against him, while others fell trying to attack.
They looked clueless.
Yeah.
They had no answers whatsoever. It felt like they'd never faced spin bowling before. And it just highlights a problem that's been plaguing Bangladesh for years, this vulnerability against spin bowling.
Yeah, it's a major concern. And it's not just about individual skill. It's about strategy.
Yeah.
Afghanistan used their spinners so effectively. They really exploited the conditions in Sharjah. Even without their star spinner, Mujib or Rahman, they found a way to make it work. And Bangladesh just didn't have an answer.
So we had a promising start then, a catastrophic collapse, and a master class in spin bowling from Afghanistan. It's a familiar story, unfortunately. What about the captains? What did they have to say after the match?
Well, as you can imagine, the mood in the two camps was pretty different. Hashmatullah Shahidi, Afghanistan's captain, was obviously delighted. He praised his team's performance, particularly Ghazanfar's bowling. You could hear the confidence in his voice.
And our captain, Najmul Shanto.
Shanto. He was disappointed, of course. He admitted that the team failed to execute their plans. And, yeah, he acknowledged that his own wicket was a turning point in the match.
Which, let's be honest, is a bit of an understatement. Losing your captain at such a crucial moment, that's a huge psychological blow. And it seemed to trigger a chain reaction of bad decisions and even worse shot selections.
Yeah, it's true. It's like the team just lost their nerve. And it points to a bigger issue, I think, this lack of mental resilience, this inability to bounce back from setbacks and regain control of the match.
That's an interesting point. And speaking of regaining control, you mentioned earlier that Sharjah has become a bit of a fortress for Afghanistan. What did you mean by that?
Well, this win against Bangladesh wasn't a fluke. Afghanistan recently defeated South Africa at the same venue, and that was a convincing win, too. It's like they've cracked the code in Sharjah. They know how to use the conditions to their advantage.
Wait, they beat South Africa in Sharjah. Wow, that's impressive. And weren't they missing some key players in both matches?
They were. In fact, against South Africa, Afghanistan was without Ibrahim Zadran, their explosive opener. And even Ramanullah Gurbaz couldn't keep wickets because of an injury. So they were missing some big names, yet they still managed to win. It shows the depth of their squad and their ability to adapt even when key players are missing.
It's remarkable, really. And it really highlights the difference between the two sides. Afghanistan, even without their full-strength team, they're strategizing, they're adapting, they're turning Sharjah into their playground.
Yeah.
And then there's Bangladesh, stuck in the cycle of familiar mistakes and missed opportunities.
It's concerning, to say the least, and it raises some serious questions about our team's preparation, their strategy, their mental toughness. We really need to delve deeper into those areas to understand how we can bridge this gap between potential and performance.
It's a tough pill to swallow. We see glimpses of brilliance. We see moments where we think, okay, Bangladesh is here to play, and then it all falls apart. What's the missing piece? Is it strategy? Is it adaptability? Or is it something deeper, something mental?
It's probably a mix of all those things. Look at how they handled the spin bowling. Ghazanfar was bowling beautifully, no doubt, but our batsmen, they looked completely lost. Like they'd never faced spin before. It was like they had no plan, no counterattack, nothing.
I kept thinking, someone's got to try a sweep shot. Something to throw Ghazanfar off his game. But no, it was also defensive. like they were just waiting to get out.
Exactly. You can't just sit back and wait. In a situation like that, you need to be proactive. You need to disrupt the bowler, make him think twice about his line and length,
Mm.
maybe some aggressive shots, some effective sweep shots. That could have thrown Gazanfar off balance.
Yeah, maybe. But I wonder if there's also a mental block.
Hmm.
You know, do our players have the confidence to take those risks, especially against a bowler who's clearly in control?
Confidence is huge in cricket.
Yeah.
Absolutely. When you're facing a bowler like Gazanfar who's on fire, doubt can creep in. You start second-guessing yourself, your technique, your ability to read the ball. And that's when the mistakes happen.
That's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know?
Yeah.
You think you're going to get out, and then bam, you're walking back to the pavilion.
Exactly. And that seems to be a recurring theme for Bangladesh. We get ourselves into a good position, and then we crumble under pressure. We had those two 50-plus partnerships, remember? We showed we can bat, we can score runs, but then it's like we hit a self-destruct button.
We're allergic to winning. I swear. It's like just when we're about to cross the finish line, something goes wrong, and we snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
It's a frustrating cycle, and it really raises questions about the team's mental strength. Do they have the belief, the composure, the resilience to handle those high-pressure moments?
Especially against a team like Afghanistan, who are missing key players but still playing with such grit and determination, it makes this defeat even harder to swallow, doesn't it?
It does. Think about it. Afghanistan was missing Ibrahim Zadran, their star opener, Mujib, their mystery spinner. Ramanullah Gurbaz couldn't even keep wickets because of his injury, and yet they still managed to dominate Bangladesh.
It's almost embarrassing, isn't it? It's like they're saying, we don't even need our best players to beat you.
It's a wake-up call, that's for sure. It shows that there's a gap, not just in terms of skill, but in terms of mindset. Afghanistan, despite their setbacks, they're playing with this hunger, this fearlessness that Bangladesh seems to lack.
So what's the solution? How do we bridge that gap? How do we develop that mental toughness?
Well, there's no easy fix. It's going to take a fundamental shift in approach, a change in mindset.
Yeah.
It starts with acknowledging our weaknesses, being honest with ourselves about where we're falling short.
No more sugarcoating, no more excuses. It's time to face the music.
Exactly. We need to analyze this loss, break it down, understand why we keep making the same mistakes. We need to identify those moments where the pressure got to us, where we made poor decisions, where we lost our confidence. And then we need to come up with strategies to address those issues.
So it's about more than just improving our batting or bowling. It's about developing that winning mentality, that belief that we can handle pressure, that we can compete at the highest level.
Exactly. It's about developing that inner strength, that unshakable belief that we can win.
It's about building a team where everyone is accountable, where mistakes are seen as opportunities to learn, not as reasons to blame or make excuses.
It's about creating an environment where players trust each other, where they believe in their abilities, and where they're not afraid to push their limits.
But it's not just about the players, is it? The coaching staff, the management, everyone involved needs to be on board.
Of course, it has to be a collective effort. The coaches need to create an environment that fosters growth and development, an environment where players are encouraged to take risks, to express themselves, to push boundaries.
And the management needs to provide the support and the resources that the team needs to succeed.
Exactly. It's about creating a system where success is not just a hope, it's an expectation. It's about building a foundation for long-term success where winning becomes a habit.
So how do we put all this talk into action? What concrete steps can we take to make this transformation happen?
Well, for starters, I think we need to take a close look at our training methods. Are we preparing our players for the mental challenges of international cricket? Are we simulating those high-pressure situations in practice? Are we giving them the tools they need to deal with adversity?
It's not just about physical fitness. It's about mental conditioning as well. We need to train our players to be mentally tough, to stay focused when the pressure is on, to make smart decisions when the game is on the line.
And we need to encourage open communication. Players need to feel comfortable talking about their struggles, their doubts, their fears. They need to know that it's okay to ask for help, that vulnerability is not a weakness.
It's about creating a supportive environment where players can learn from each other, where they can build each other up, where they can develop that team spirit that's so essential for success.
And we need to bring in experts, sports psychologists, mental coaches, people who can help our players develop the mental skills they need to compete at the highest level.
It's an investment in the future of Bangladesh cricket. It's about building a team that's not just talented, but resilient, determined, mentally unbreakable.
It's about building a team that can make the nation proud, not just with flashes of brilliance, but with consistent, sustained success.
It's easy to focus on the negatives after a loss like this. But I'm curious, was there anything from this match, any silver lining that Bangladesh can take away and build on for the rest of the series?
Well, it's tough to find positives in a defeat like this, but yeah, there were moments, the glimpses of what this team is capable of. Those two 50-plus partnerships early on, they showed that they can bat, they can rotate the strike, they can score runs. The problem is they seem to lose all that as soon as the pressure mounted.
It's like they need to figure out how to bottle that early confidence and keep it on tap for when things get tough, because the series is far from over. So what do they need to do differently in the next match? How do they level the playing field?
Well, they need to learn from Afghanistan. They need to come up with a clear plan for handling those spinners. Gazanfar completely exposed their weakness against spin. They can't just hope to survive. They need to disrupt his rhythm. They need to put him under pressure.
So a more aggressive approach then?
Yeah.
Maybe those sweep shots we were talking about.
Exactly. They need to be proactive, not reactive. And
Yeah.
it's not just about technique, it's about mindset. They need to go out there believing they can dominate the Afghan spinners, not just survive them.
Confidence is everything in cricket.
Absolutely. And that confidence needs to be built on solid preparation. They need to spend time in the nets working on their technique against spin, practicing those match scenarios, developing that mental toughness.
It's back to basics for Bangladesh. Analyze the mistakes, learn the lessons, come back stronger. Easier said than done, of course.
It is. It takes a lot of introspection, a lot of hard
Yeah.
work. But this Bangladesh team has the talent. They've shown us glimpses of brilliance. Now they need to find that consistency, that mental strength, that hunger to win.
Well said. To all our listeners out there, especially our fellow Bangladeshi fans, don't lose hope just yet. This team has what it takes to turn things around. They just need to dig deep, find that fighting spirit, and show the world what they're made of.
It's a test of character, a defining moment. I'm really interested to see how they respond.
And on that note, we're wrapping up our deep dive into Bangladesh's defeat. But the conversation doesn't end here. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts? What's your analysis? What are your hopes for the rest of this series? Head over to our social media pages and let us know. And as always, thanks for joining us on Tarek Podcast, your source for insightful cricket analysis and passionate discussions. Until next time, keep the faith and keep believing in the Tigers.